Hello, everybody. This is Debo of Debo's Movie Reviews here, and this week's review will be The Shadow. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men, and the weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Starring, of course, Alec Baldwin as Lamont Cranston, aka The Shadow, with John Lone as Shiwan Khan, Penelope L. Miller as Margot Lane, Sir Ian McKellen as her father, and Tim Curry as Farley Claymore. It was the underling villain. Which is which I gotta give it to Russell McCree for knocking it out of the park with this masterpiece. Though I did was kind of mixed on the casting of Alec Baldwin as a Shadow, but he did okay. And and I always kind of felt like Shadows needed more branch out too, because there's original radio show, then a comic book, in this movie, and I feel like that would have been like a TV series and a video game. Which, of course, was, for those who don't know, the Shadow you can describe as like Batman with Jedi mind, who would be able to do Jedi mind tricks and such. Because, see, billionaire or millionaire playboy by day and crime fighter by night, similarities. Whereas Batman lives in Gotham, Shadow lives in New York. Though Batman didn't didn't learn the Toku, which was, and of course, he didn't have the whole villain arc with Shiwan Khan or should I say Genghis Khan. I mean, talking about knocking out of the park from how he from the beginning of the movie when they find that sarcophagus, and at first they find Egyptian, but it would turn out to be Mongolian. And of course, with also great castings of like Jonathan Winters as the police chief, commissioner slash his uncle, and how and the chemistry between Penelope Ann Miller and Baldwin, and of course, true to the Shadow, a lot of excellent 1911 action, which is about one difference between him and Batman. Whereas Batman don't use guns, not in movies anyway. And then and of course, you got Peter Boyle as the cab driver, who was basically like his dope ender, you know, and recruited to his some secret society. These like beginning where you had that Asian dude and of course with Khan kidnapping Margot's father and forcing him to build an atom bomb about nearly 10 years before 10 to 5 years before the war started. Which, of course, would just make sense for having it to not, for to omit, which was already cliche at this point with like movies like The Spirit and, I mean, not The Spirit, I mean The Phantom, Indiana Jones and Rocketeer, for Nazi connections. But yeah, I've seen The Phantom, but I have to go back and check that part. Yeah, I might be wrong, but it still fits in the genre category. It's just kind of, which is kind of surprising they really didn't get a sequel out of it. Because yeah, that would have been an excellent twist for Curry's character. And and talking about one of Tim Curry's most iconic performances as Farley Claymore. I mean, woof. But I mean, yeah, great action, and even how badass that the old Cord taxi cab looked, along with that the magic of the secret wings that Shadow's agents use. and and of course Margot Lane being immune to his Jedi mind tricks and all, to where Shadow was able to just get same like at the beginning when he was trying to throw his uncle off the trail, saying, "There is no Shadow. You're not gonna form a task force." Yada yada yada. And even at the beginning, which kind of makes, which at least it really gave more of his origin, because the radio shows were before my time, and I've only listened to like a couple episodes. And out of that, I think I was more of a Lone Ranger guy to begin with, but still, Shadow was kind of a badass character that needs to be, should at least been as more mainstream and as Batman, and brought to wider audiences. And essentially, in this one, I'm going to say is I'm going to give about a 4 out of 5. I mean, wasn't really a memorable take on the '90s, but it did have but it was influential and cult classic status. All right, that'll do it for this week. Like, subscribe, throw some recommendations in the comments, and I'll keep dishing them out.